И сега за мен е огромно удоволствие да ви представя лектора ни тази вечер, а именно Стил Кайл. Аплодисменти!
I don't know. Maybe this one. Oh, yeah, unfortunately I don't have a presentation. Okay, well, let me adjust this. I want to say chastito to the nine, just counted them, startups that are presenting. I think 3, help me Nikolai, in social technology. And what? People what? People, planet, profit. So in the 3 different areas, it's really cool. I love seeing in Bulgaria that we've got Startup Smart, planetpreneur.org, and these organizations beginning to grow, because this is something we really need to make Bulgaria thrive, and I'm really, really happy to see these guys here. So thanks to the Nikolais and everybody else, and the 9 entrepreneurs that came up here with their ideas. It's really awesome. I had absolutely no idea this hall was so big, because I've never been here, despite that I think Nikolai warned me, so I'm a little schmatka. I didn't have the anticipation that there would be so many of you. So I bought this marker thinking I would like write some things and share it with the 30 or so people that showed up. But it didn't work out that way. It's a really big crowd. So thanks for coming here. I don't know, I feel really tall. I want to I guess, speak about very briefly the Play Manifesto and why I did that. And then delve a little bit more into what that means for entrepreneurship, because some feedback. So. Because I'm sorry, what? Yeah, we can skip this one. Where's the other microphone? That one? Sorry. Okay, so, oh, that's better. Let's just talk about briefly, because maybe some people have seen it, some people haven't, the Play Manifesto, and why I did that, because this talk is about the Play Manifesto extended. And to me, the extension should be in entrepreneurship and in startups and in business, because that's why these 9 companies are here and why the Nikolais are here promoting this, which is really cool. So the Play Manifesto wasn't a how-to. It wasn't a guidebook. I never meant it to be an instruction manual or anything like that. It was literally a manifesto, which was a public declaration for revolution on changing our ideas. And I don't know how many people here have seen it. Has many people seen it? Half, third, 10%? Raise hands. Those of you who haven't, which is about half of you or more. This was about saying what we're doing for the last 100, 200 years, the way we're operating in business, isn't working very well. And in particular, it's not unique to Bulgaria. I mean, it's not working well in many countries. But in particular, it's not working well here. And it wasn't a dig or a slag or any negative thing about here in particular, but it was more of a wake-up call to say, hey, it's broken, the system is broken. That isn't necessarily bad, but if we recognize the fact that it's broken, maybe we can fix it. So again, it's not some, I don't know, some negative statement to say the situation is so poor that it's beyond hope. It's a statement to say this is the situation, these are the facts that at least we see, or the European Union sees, or the people see in the surveys, and maybe this is a way to think differently about it. And I want to think back a little bit about this. Like,
In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and that was supposed to be a collapse of perhaps communism and the old ways of doing things, and supposedly a free market success. And when the Berlin Wall fell, it wasn't just a physical wall that fell, but it was the walls of market economies and information and transparency and all this stuff. And all of a sudden it was supposed to be, yes, you know, the USA and democracy and all that crap won. But if we flash forward to today and we see the problems in the economic markets, I don't know. I think we have to question, did that really happen? Is that really a success when you have Lehman Brothers collapsing and huge companies that were, like General Motors and Ford and Chrysler, were staples of economic capitalism that were supposedly fantastic, and even companies like Citibank and Credit Suisse First Boston or Bank of America on the verge of collapse. You know, we have to question, was that really a success? And I would say no, because you guys as entrepreneurs, those 9 companies that were up here, the people sitting here, maybe you're interested in entrepreneurship, we have to think about, like when we talk about Play Manifesto Extended, what's been going on in capitalism and free market economics for over 200 years. In 1663, we had factories in Manchester, you know, red brick factories with looms, people making textiles. You had 5 workers and 1 supervisor for every 5 workers, and another supervisor for every 10 supervisors, and blah, blah, blah. And you had this command and control, military-style, autocratic workplace. Okay, maybe that worked in 1663, and I guess it did. And that worked in education with universities and professors, and that came forward, and then the Berlin Wall collapsed, and all this sort of economic thing goes on. But let's think about the automobile. Over 100 years ago, Ford made automobiles on a production line. We had what? 4 tires, metal chassis, steering wheel, clutch system, combustion engine, internal combustion engine. It seated 4 or 5 people, and it went on average 18 miles per hour. Yeah? Over 100 years ago now. Last year, what did we have? In this brilliant time of progress and innovation, we had, generally speaking, cars with 4 tires, an internal combustion engine, a steering wheel, brakes, a clutch, maybe an automatic transmission, seated 4 or 5 people, and the average speed in New York City was 17.5 miles per hour. Well, what the hell has happened in 100 years when we say there's so much innovation and change and strategy that we have to keep up with as entrepreneurs? And 100 years ago, we had parking problems. And now what do we have? I've been driving for 20 years, right? And you drive, you see your parking spot, you have to parallel park, which means you have to go past your parking space, hope the people behind you stop, because most likely they won't. Then turn your wheel diagonally backwards, get into your parking space maybe, and even me, after driving for 20 years, hope that I do a really good job parking, right? So where's this innovation? Why doesn't every car go next to the parking space, have a little button we push, the steering wheel turns or something, or the tires go this way, and we just slide into our parking space? What the hell? Like seriously, where's the innovation in 100 years? It's bullshit. Or let's look at oil and gas. Over 100 years ago, what do? We take a bore machine, a drill, we drill into the earth, we spend lots of money trying to find oil, we maybe drill into the water, we spend millions on exploration, we kind of drill in, it goes deeper and deeper, it's hard to extract the oil, it's hard to store the oil, it turns on fire, it's hard to contain leaks, it's hard to do everything. But 100 years later, what % of our energy comes from these resources versus renewable energy like solar or wind or lightning or geothermal? Piss all. Or, gee, let's look at airlines, especially in the United States, thank you. The airline industry in the United States has managed to make everybody miserable. I don't know how many of you have flown on airlines in the United States. United Airlines, American Airlines, Continental Airlines, Delta Airlines, they suck. They're unprofitable, the shareholders don't get any money, the pilots are miserable, and the passengers, they've managed to even make the passengers miserable. Nobody's happy. Here's a true story, exactly on that which made me think of the airlines. I flew to Hong Kong a month ago, and I flew on Turkish Airlines, on economy. Brilliant, literally brilliant. Turkish Airlines had power for your laptop or for anything else in economy seating. They had real little blankets, they had lots of leg room, they had a 9-inch, I don't know what it was in centimeters, screen with pick your little channels. It was great, it was really great. The Turkish Airlines lounge, amazing. I really actually enjoyed the Turkish Airlines flight. So I got to Hong Kong thinking, nice. My trip from Hong Kong to Ho Chi Minh City was on, for some strange reason, a United Airlines flight. So I get on the 747 with United. I had barely enough legroom to get my knees behind the seat. The plane looked dodgy and old. The blanket was like a thread. The staff were miserably unhappy. The plane was like half broken and looked dodgy. They had one of those old sort of, monitors that came down from the center aisle that you were supposed to watch a movie on that was grainy and pixelated and sounded like you couldn't watch it. And it struck to me the difference on what the hell is happening in the United States with airlines. And the issue is everybody has just followed everybody else, just like in automotive or oil and all these big companies where we get stuck. And there is no innovation. There is no progress. Just not. And this is all going to sort of come together. I'm just sort of rambling on, I know, but hold on. So flash forward to this morning. I'm Skyping with a friend of mine, a girlfriend who works at IBM. And she's like, well, everybody's a bit nervous because the big bosses are coming from headquarters. And I was like, is that bad? And she's like, I guess so. And I was like, why is that bad? Are the big bosses scary? And it seems they are. And so then I'm like, And I went into another part of my office and I saw 3 employees talking, and I walked into the room and I'm like, hi. And they just kept talking. And then I was like, and by the way, I'm the little boss of my company. And then I'm like, And so then I did some like little karate moves, which I don't know karate, so I just like, and this guy, Pavel, and he went, back to me. So he obviously wasn't scared of me. No, it's a true story. And no, it's true. And so then I was like, well, I told Pavel this story of my friend, and he's like, oh, that reminds me of being in the military. When I was in the military, the shopkeeper, the hacks would come, and everybody would try to hide and do something else because they were afraid and they didn't want to like just meet these bosses, these chefkeys, these hats, whatever. And it was miserable. And I started thinking about that, and I'm like, well, shit. Why is it that business, for hundreds of years, since that 1663 time when we were doing looms in the brick building of Manchester, is command and control military? If we think about what do we have? Mission statements, strategies, market penetration, target markets, whatever. It's military. We have this illusion of control that we want to control our employees. And there should be a headquarters. We have a global headquarters in Palo Alto for HP. We've got a regional headquarters in Austria or Germany or wherever the hell it is. We have a headquarters. We do, right? So this is military style. And this has been billed as free market economics, but it's not. It's military economics for hundreds of years. And what do we do in military economics in our businesses? We treat you like adolescent slaves. We really do. Oh, gosh, come to work at 9, we'll be watching you. No bathroom breaks without asking your boss. No personal phone calls. Don't leave the premises. That's bad. Don't search the internet. This is bad. Follow our processes, which we have designed to be able to be mimicked by a monkey. We have 1,000 processes. We have an employee handbook manual this big that if you break, you can be punished. Right? This is what they have. I work and I have customers that have employee handbooks this big. This is military crap. This is the illusion of control that we have tried to maintain since the 1600s. Since the Industrial Revolution, it's the same illusion of control that we have in the university systems, that we treat our employees like adolescent kids. Pretty much. And at least back then, there was a compensation for it. You got something out of it. You were like, okay, if I suffer this bullshit autocratic environment, I at least get paid my paycheck. Right? I get life employment sometimes. Like IBM was known for life employment, or HP, or Matsushita, or Panasonic. I get life employment. Yay! Well, I'm sorry, but I just did a little search. Let me find it. I've got some scratches here somewhere. I did a search just for 2011 layoffs from large companies. Bank of America, one of the largest companies in the world, 30,000 people plus. Whoops. HSBC, 35,000 people. The city of Nashville, 5,000 people. The post office in the United States, an old bastion of you could never get fired, 7,500 people layoffs this year. Borders Books, over 10,000. Boston Scientific on the Dow, 1,400. Cisco, over 6,500. Delta Airlines, over 2,000. Goldman Sachs, even the best investment bank in the world, over 1,000 layoffs. Merck Pharmaceuticals, over 13,000 layoffs. Research in Motion makes BlackBerry, over 2,000 layoffs. Credit Suisse First Boston, over 6,000 layoffs. IBM, 600. Sears, 700. Barclays Bank, 3,000. Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, 5,500. Lockheed Martin, 6,500. And the list goes on and on and on. So it's a fraudulent bullshit. The big companies used to say, put up with our crap and our little slavery, and you get employment for life, or at least in 5 years, you'll progress and get a promotion and blah, 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 blah. It isn't true anymore. There is no loyalty. The average company now lives less than 40 years at best, and there is a 9.1% chance, 9.1, that any company that started now is even around in 40 years. So there's a 91% chance that whatever your company is idiotic crap in 40 years. That's the stats. It's a fraudulent game. It's absolute crap. I'm sorry. And so we sit around, and one of the reasons I bring this up is because you guys as startups, these 9 companies, when you have people interviewing with you, they go, oh, but I want stability. I want a big company. It's crap. There is no loyalty. There is no stability in a big company. And this is one of the things I want to question in this talk. Why? Question the paradigm. When I did Play Manifesto and said, hey, this is a manifesto, this is a declaration of revolution of change, people said, that's a little maverick. Well, why? Because our old way is so good? Why is it so good? Why do we want to be like these old companies? Why is it that when I go to MBA school, and every MBA school from Harvard to MIT Sloan Management to Australia Management School, AGSM, Australian Graduate School of Management, why are they saying growth, growth, growth? This is the mantra. And I'm convinced because these old companies value what? Homogeneity. We have to all be the same. Wear your costume. Be the same. Follow these guidelines and these principles. Why? Why am I wearing a costume to work? Why am I following these procedures and guidelines? What, so I can fit in? So I can look like everybody else? Maybe? I don't know. Why do I have to follow these procedures? Why do these big companies value growth? And every VC you go to as a startup company is going to say what? We want to see over 7 years, 100 million in revenue. Growth. Absolutely. I don't know who laughed here, but it's totally true. Because I'm going to the VCs now, and they say the exact same thing. Well, fuck you. Why? Because HP needs that, because IBM needs that, Cisco needs that, and Oracle needs that. And why do they need that? Because homogeneity kills creativity and innovation. So when you're sitting around, all wearing your costume, following your procedure, doing the same thing, showing up at 9, pretending to work, pretending to have a career advancement, you're not innovating, you're not having fun, you're not happy, you're not growing, you're not making suggestions. And what happens? They have to acquire other companies. Oracle, HP, classic cases. How do they grow? They grow through acquisition. How many companies have Oracle acquired? Zillions. Why? Because they can't innovate on their own anymore. They've lost it. They have no innovation. They have a bunch of little robotic monkeys sitting there, showing up at 9, doing the minimal amount of work required, getting their paycheck as long as they can get it, and leaving. This is why they have to acquire. They have no innovation left. They have no capability to innovate. This is why growth is a mantra for the VCs and for the large companies. And I'm saying, let's question it. Bullshit. What is wrong if you are a small product company like the 3Challenge company, like Virtual Assistant, like the robotic arm company, like whatever the other companies were here, and you're making $10 million a year, 10% profit, so you're making $1 million profit, you keep innovating because your people are happy, and so you're staying up on the latest trends, you're adding modules, whatever it is. You have 100 employees, and year after year, you're making $10 million in revenue and $1 million in profit. Is that a lack of success? I would say no. Would a VC be happy because they say, oh, there's not growth? No, they won't be happy. They'll be unhappy. They'll say, oh, that's not a successful model. Why? You're making $1 million in profit, your people are happy, you're innovating, you're providing a good service. F you, VC. Sorry. So, I guess I'm pissed off at these old ways of thinking, and I want to question them, and I want you guys to question them, because if you question them, we'll start thinking outside of the box. We'll start thinking, well, is this right for us? We start asking the question, why? Do we need to keep doing this? No. Do you guys, I don't know if you see what I'm saying, but I hope so. So this is annoying me. And I want to go back to the